guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thank you for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased to be able to bring you another Pagani design. Actually, I'm still wearing it. It's the PD-1773. It's one that I really did like the look of. There's a few colour variations to choose from. I've gone for the salmon dial because it just really does pop. It does have rose gold hands as well, which I wasn't expecting, which offers a nice sort of it offers what you'd expect it to. Really, it looks really good against the backdrop of the salmon dial. Really cool. The case shape and everything does look very similar to the PD-1717. I don't know if they've just sort of reused it, but it looks quite similar. Yeah, I got this sent to me for free from the Pagani Design flagship store. I've got a really good working relationship with them, but this was one that I really just wanted to get in, given what it offers. You've got the Sapphire crystal, VK63 movement, the bracelet and the case and everything. The finishing looks like it's done exceptionally well. Something that I've been really impressed with, to be honest. And like I said, with the dial hands and all this stuff, and all coming in for around £70, it looks to be a real contender. Pagani Design do make exceptional chronographs. I'm not saying any of them are originals, but they do make really good chronographs, and I want to see, along with you, does this follow in that vein? Does it do the Bezel? I guess there's no time like the present to find out. So thanks for tuning back in. I will leave an affiliate link in the description. Please feel free to use it. If this isn't in keeping with your taste, and I'm sure I've got other videos either in the past or coming in the future that will suit you better. But as I say, thanks for tuning back in, and it's about the time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys and girls, so this is the watch. As you'll see, it's another Pagani design. I won't do too much about the packaging because it's the same packaging you've been getting for a long time. They do different iterations, but this is sort of like the real old school one that they've been using for a long time. Hang tag inside, you'll be able to make out inner foam, keeping it safe in transit. You'll see I put the bracelet, the links down the side. I've taken 4 links out for it to fit my wrist, and warranty card, instruction manual down the side. Not very useful, to be honest. Very generic. It doesn't offer a lot of help, but a lot of their watches are pretty straightforward to use, so I dare say it shouldn't be a deal breaker. But there we go. This is the PD-1773. A few colour variations to choose from. I plumped for the salmon dial just because I thought, why not? It looked extremely cool. It was one that just really sort of struck me to begin with. I'll bring the other colour variations up next to me now, so it gives you an idea of what's around, and maybe they'll be more in keeping with your taste. But this is the one that I plumped for. Inside, it's running a Seiko VK63 movement. I'll bring some information up about that movement now. Chronograph Seiko movement is technically a Mechaquartz because it does give you a sweep of the chronograph second hand when you use it, and I will show you that when I look at the dial in a few minutes time. Yeah, rugged, reliable. They use these VK63, VK64 movements nowadays in a lot of micro brands because they're inexpensive, but you've got the reliability, plus you get a bit of a sweep motion going on, so it ticks a lot of boxes. Pagani Design are also known to use them very often, again because of that reason, the fact that it's inexpensive, so it allows them to spend a little bit more money on other elements of the watch, which I quite like, to be honest, especially when you're buying an inexpensive watch. That money's not spread very far, so they've got to spread it quite thinly, don't they? So I mean, in terms of them sort of operating like that, it's fine. So yeah, this is the VK63 movement, Mechaquartz movement from Seiko. So there we go. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal on the front, is all 316L stainless steel. So you've got a brushed case with a polished edge. You've got a bracelet which is really nice actually. You got a mixture of brushing and polishing. Polish at the sides. You got polished elements on the top, but transitions nice to those brush surfaces. You got the clasp, which is brushed at the top, polished at the sides, partly milled. We'll run through that in a moment. The case back is screwed down, and it is also 316L stainless steel and brushed. So yeah, mainly brushed, a few polished elements, and you got polished bezel as well. So there you go. So yeah, 316L stainless steel. So that's the bezel, pushers and crown, case, end links, case back, bracelet and clasp. As I said, pretty much everything aside from the crystal. So there we go. The case thickness of the watch is 13.1 millimeters. The case diameter I measure sort of in between where the crown and pushers are. Over to this side, it's coming in at bang on 38 millimeters, and when you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it comes in at 41.6 millimeters, which is going to be a similar sort of width with the pushers also. The lug width on this is 20. That does taper down to 18 and back up to 20 mil at the clasp. And the lug to lug, tip to tip, is a true lug to lug, given it's got female end links of the center link, and it's coming in at 45.3 millimeters. The bezel, as I showed you a moment ago, is a high polished bezel, which again is pretty cool against the backdrop of the rest of the watch being mainly brushed. So yeah, especially the head of the watch where it's pretty much all brushed. Nice contrast there. The case back, as I've already mentioned, is screwed down. It does come with sort of like a plethora of information on there, really, just giving you the model number and logo and bits and pieces. But yeah, we're going to run through stuff in just a moment anyway as we go. So the the crown is situated at 3 o'clock. It's a screw down crown. You've got pushers at 2 and 4 to operate the chronograph function, which we'll look at in just a moment. The bracelet, as I said, I really do like the bracelet. Nice little bit of taper on there, nicely finished. Push pins for you to change it out, which I found to be super easy. You got signage on the clasp. Take over the tap, and there you go. Nice and easy. Double pushers, and you got a safety catch also, just to keep it safe. Like outer shell's partly milled. The inner two elements are milled. So there you go. The crystal covering the dial is a sapphire crystal. It could do with some AR coating on there. If it's got any, I'll be surprised. But yeah, it's a sapphire crystal because I did test it, and the water resistance they're giving for this watch is 100 meters. So that'd give you 10 atmospheres of water resistance. But guys and girls, do bear in mind with Pagani design, they don't certify their watches. So, but where it's got a screw down crown, screw down case back, crystal seated, I'll take this swimming. I wouldn't have any reservations in doing so. So there you go. The weight will appear in the top right. It's just below 125 grams with 4 links removed. With those 4 links back in, you're probably in and around 140 grams. So given the size of the watch, it's not a bad bit of heft really, given it's quite a diminutive type watch in terms of its size. So there we go. But let's have a look at the dial now, guys, in a bit more detail. And what I'll do is I'll press the chronograph hand just to get that moving around straight away so you can see. So it's a sandwich dial. You'll see the numerals are recessed into the case. In essence, you would think that would give it good lume, and we'll look at that in just a moment. You've got numerals through to from 1 to 12. You've got smaller numerals at 3, 6, and 9 to make way for the sub-dials. The sub-dial, so the sub-dial at 3 o'clock is the 24 hours, so that's 10 years. It is at 20 past 8 in the evening. You've got the sub-dial at 6, which is the seconds for the time. So yeah, that's scrolling through now. You've got the sub-dial at the 9 o'clock position, which is the sub-dial for the minutes for the chronograph. And as you'll see in just a moment, when the second chronograph hand passes 12, you'll see very slightly that hand will move over 1, because it would obviously be gone up by 1 minute. So just look out for this now, guys. You see that just slightly, a little bit of movement. Obviously, it's not going to be a great deal given the fact that it's only gone up by 1 minute, but that will just continue to do so as it goes round. Nice salmon sunburst dial, actually, guys. This is which is the reason I wanted to bring it in. You've got a minute track going around the outer edge. As I said, you've got a sandwich dial with the numerals recessed into the case. You've got Pagani design. You've got the logo and script writing below the 12 o'clock position. You've got Japan movement just sort of on the minute track down at the 6 o'clock position. The sub dials are really nicely done, actually. I like the way they're recessed in. I like the way they're finished, sort of like a spiralized effect on the sub dials. The hands, I like the fact that they've gone for sort of rose gold hands, because I think it's a much better sort of backdrop to the salmon dial itself. And you'll see in just a moment it will just move forward 1 more, given the fact that it's now going past 2 minutes. As it does so, what you can do, so the pusher at the 2 starts and stops it, and then if you want to reset, you press the 1 at the 4. They all go back to the upright position. If I unscrew the crown, it's got a VK63, as I mentioned. If you take it out to the first position, You can just change the date, which you'll see just there. And if you turn it the other way, it will do nothing. If you take it all the way out, you'll see the sub dial at the 6 o'clock. The second hand will stop because it is a hacking movement. You put it back in, it all starts back up again. So that's the movement, that's the hands. And let me just bring the loom up, guys. So I alluded to before, the fact it's got a sandwich dial, I thought would help it with its loom. That was not to be the case. Initially, nice little bit of burst of loom. It very, very quickly faded. So that was disappointing. I know it's not a dive watch, but given the fact that they have got an opportunity now, given the type of dial they've done, to have decent loom, I thought it would do, but no, it didn't. So there we go. But that's the dial, guys. That's the movement. That's the hands, indices, all that good stuff. Let me just pop it on the wrist quickly, give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. Okay, so guys and girls, this is what it looks like on my wrist. As I said, not the biggest watch. 38mm is a good size really for this type of watch, and I think it looks very, very pretty, to be honest. It looks very, very nice, and actually better in person than the pictures really. So pleased to get this in. So there you go. What do you think, guys and girls? Okay, so guys and girls, that would now take me on to what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. As you'll know if you've watched before, always start with pants. I like to go on a high with pucker. So what I think is pants is not a huge amount, but there are 3 things that I do want to mention. So first off is the lack of AR coating. As you'll see, that is just going absolutely bonkers, isn't it, in the studio lighting. So yeah, a bit of AR coating on there would have really helped with that. The loom, disappointing given the fact that it does make it a lot easier to have decent loom, given it's a sandwich dial. They could really fill it underneath on the dial underneath. They could have done that quite easily, so that's disappointing. And the hand damage, so on the chronograph second hand, you'll see just down there, there's damage to the hand, which is unfortunate. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that came to be. I'll bring some pictures up now as well. Yeah, at first I thought it was something on the dial. I thought it was something on the crystal, but now it turns out there's a little bit of damage to the chronograph second hand. So there you go. So they're the 3 things I mentioned: lack of AR coating, loom, and hand damage. What I think is Pukka, for the price point, in around £70, you're getting sapphire crystal. So I think you're very remiss of me not to mention that. You've got the dial. I think the dial was stunning. The sunburst dial with the sort of accents of the sub dials, and also the sandwich dial with the numerals being recessed. I think it all works really well. The hands, I'm glad they sort of didn't just go for bog standard silver hands. They've gone for sort of rose gold, which offers a nice consistency with the dial. The movement, you got a VK63, which is a Mechaquartz movement. So yeah, it's a rugged, reliable movement. It's a known entity at this point. The size, 38mm with 45mm lug to lug. Very, very good size. Makes it easy to wear for many wrist sizes due to that. The bracelet, as I've already mentioned, I think the bracelet's really nice. Excuse my fingerprints, guys. It's really, really warm here. But yeah, the bracelet's nice. And the price, like I said, £70 with discounts and vouchers and stuff. You obviously want to aim to get it cheaper. But I think for the price, it's quite a lot of watch at this point, to be honest, guys. So just to surmise what I think is, Pukka, as I go with the sapphire crystal, the dial, hands, movement, size, bracelet, and price. We got there in the end. And guys and girls, would I recommend this watch? I still would. I think it's not perfect, or at least the one I've got isn't. If they can sort the loom out with their AR coating, I think it's an absolute winner, because I do think that's an isolated thing with the hand damage. So yeah, if they can sort those 2 things out, I think it's a real stonker of a watch, and another sign that obviously Pagani design do really good chronograph watches. But guys and girls, please let me know what you think about this watch, more importantly, and maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and always watch your time. Take care, guys. All the very best.